Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John Woolley, back again with my bestie, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I am mentally and emotionally exhausted, but
Yep, there's that.
I'm good. No, it's I'm back at work. We're out of the quarantine, so work is back in full swing. I'm back
Oh,
full swing in the gym and getting my butt kicked every single day. And then we got all this craziness going on within the world of
yeah.
CrossFit. So it's just between the page and work and gym, and I'm a little worn out. And my hands are all ripped up from a bunch of pull
Uh-oh.
ups. So that's even worse. Like it's just gross. Like
I hate that.
I know, but I'm excited because tonight I've been getting just hammered by followers saying we need an Ole Roy update. So here you go. We got him live in person. My dad, Ole Roy. Welcome to the show, Ole Roy.
Well, thank you very much. I have one question before we start. Do you and I need to put makeup on top of our heads so it won't be so blinding in here?
Some powder, just deaden that glare a little bit.
I already did. Mine's a little sunburn from mowing the yard this week, so I think I'm good.
Ooh.
I
don't
was
have
just
I'm
talking.
glad to be here.
I was just talking
Yep.
to somebody about this today, actually. Well, I saw a coworker and he had a fresh haircut. I'm like, man, look at you with that fade. He's like, yeah, during the quarantine, it was getting really looked like a 12-year-old. And
Oh yeah. Oh, did I ever show you Matt's haircut? Matt's quarantine cut?
the one you did it?
Oh yeah.
No,
I
I
did
haven't.
it.
I haven't seen it.
I'll have to send you pictures. I was kind of proud of myself because it looked real nice from the front. Like he had a nice little flow, like nice little whatever. And then from the side and the back, it was a little like Friar John.
Nice.
And like I don't know
Nice.
how to do a fade. So it was like he had like the bowl cut basically.
Well, I told this kid today, I'm like, this is the first time in probably a decade that I've not been jealous of other people with hair because they all looked like hell for like the
Oh
last
yeah.
60 days. And
Oh
I
yeah.
was able to keep shaving my head. So I felt good.
Yeah. He was a good sport. He didn't care, but
So a quick update for I know we have a lot of new listeners lately. Like we've been really kind of picking up steam, and there's a lot of people probably that haven't even noticed on the page yet. But Ole Roy is semi-internet famous as being a new CrossFitter and throwing down at the gym there in Tupelo, Mississippi, which is my hometown.
oh,
And
very famous. I'm starstruck right now. Very excited to be meeting you finally. I can't believe it's taken this long.
Surely you didn't enjoy reading all that foolishness that I write.
I'm obsessed with it, as I think a lot of John's followers are.
It's mostly true. Now, of course, I embellish a good bit, but it's pretty true, most of it.
I'm
well,
gonna go with all true. I'm just gonna believe it all.
it's mostly true. I think it's mostly true. I mean, what's been interesting to me following Dad's CrossFit journey is how quickly you've assimilated to hating all the same things the rest of us hate, like the assault bike and running. And it's nice to know that's universal, whether you're in your 70s, 40s, 30s, or 20s.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so that's good to know for sure. So
So I am made of questions right now
I'll
for
answer.
Roy. Can I just take over, John? You know
yeah,
everything about
yeah.
your dad already.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've already laid down the law with him that this is a fully editable podcast, and that whatever he says, I can rearrange to make me sound better. So, yeah, go ahead, say whatever you want.
Fantastic.
I'll interject.
So I can
It'll be
actually
fine.
say pretty well anything I want. You'll just cut it out.
I
Pretty
will.
much, yeah.
I'll cut out the offensive parts for sure, and anything that's too revealing about me, I'll cut out. So otherwise,
Oh, I have John's.
Okay.
Wait, is that John behind you in that
It
picture?
is, John. This was John's room.
Oh, we're in your
My
room.
wife has made a
I know, right?
study out of it.
Oh, it's
And
not your room
the
anymore.
the walls you can't see over here, pictures everywhere, but that's
Oh,
John. That's sweet John back there.
look at
And
how
I told him I was
cute.
going to tell. Right over here is the wall there. He put his head through it one time. He and his
Oh,
sister were here, had a party while we were gone
I don't
somewhere.
remember this at all. This is not how it
Yeah,
happened.
it probably hurt your head too much.
I don't remember this at all. I
you
am.
got busted for a house party and you put your
No,
head
no,
through
no,
a
no. There
wall.
was no party, and I'm sticking with that story to my deathbed.
The other thing is, before you start asking questions, you notice that I have a southern drawl. I talk a little bit slow,
Notice that?
and John may have to translate on some of the stuff that I.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. Well, English is my second language, so
Ah,
I'll slow down my
must be
brain and try to
mine. Yeah.
process.
Yep.
Well, I think my very first question for you, Roy, sort of comes on the heels of a lot of craziness in the CrossFit community lately, a lot of shakeups on the headquarters side of things, and it's been complicated trying to figure out who's running the company, what do they stand for, and what do the affiliates need to do, like logistically, to be a part of it or not. So all those conversations have been difficult and heavy, and I think that they have on some level made us forget about the magic that happens every day, day in and day out, just in the gyms and in the affiliates. And so I just wanted to ask you to sort of remind us by giving us your experience. Like, tell us about your experience recently, because you're in the swing of things now, but you're still a relatively new CrossFitter. So just kind of like overall, how has getting into this sport of CrossFit affected you in your life so far?
I've been doing this now 9.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
When I got into it, John tried to get me into it a year and a half ago, and I was overweight, but it takes time to do the thing. I have other hobbies,
Okay.
including beagles. I have beagles.
Oh, that's right.
Hunting beagles.
Hunting
I don't hunt, but I field trial with them. But anyhow, I got to feeling bad. I thought, frankly, I thought maybe I had heart issues, and I've never been sick in my life. So I have a friend who's a cardiologist, and he ran tests, determined that wasn't it. And but I had a thyroid issue, and they did surgery and took half my thyroid out, and it weakened my right side a good bit. So I remembered that John had loved going to the CrossFit R2F up here, and the folks that owned it, and they're very nice. And I finally decided to go. I really did not have a clue what I was getting into. I knew he'd been doing it a long time. One of the things I believe I wrote about, I walked in that first day, and there were folks everywhere in there doing different things and some devices that I thought were like torture.
You weren't wrong.
Well, that one that I noticed immediately was the thing that's got rollers on it. I still don't know the name of it because I'm not climbing on the blame thing.
What is it? The
It's
thing
got
that's
rollers. You get on it and do back bends.
Oh, the GHD.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I hate. You're not going to take a great big guy to get me on that.
Got you.
So, they have a first. I told them I wanted to try it, so they were willing to give me a free week.
Okay.
And they did nothing. I mean, I didn't have to do anything. Of course, they weren't drafting the account yet, I guess. But I got the free week, and I enjoyed it. And these folks were wonderful, the folks that own it. And got into the second week and third week, and frankly, it liked to kill me. I remember waking up one morning, and I thought I was paralyzed. I lay there for a minute. Everything in my body hurt. I couldn't figure out how I was going to get out of bed. And I finally rocked back and forth long enough to kind of drop one foot on the floor, and I managed to stand up. But after the first 2 or 3 weeks, it started getting better and better and better. I couldn't do 5 push-ups or sit-ups when I first started. The other night I did 110.
Come on.
And along with a lot of other stuff. So it's really come on for me. I've lost about almost 50 pounds.
Wow.
I'm ranging right now from 214 to 218 in that range. I've lost a world of inches, a lot of inches. And my strength is coming, including on this right side, which I was pleased to know. It's still, my right side's still weaker than the other one, and I'm not doing tremendous weights like John can do. But I did.
Like John can
Thank
do.
you. Thank you very much.
I did lift. I did deadlifts the other night, and I did 205 pounds.
Roy, look at you.
And then right after I got through doing that, we had snatches at 75 pounds. And if I remember right, I did 110 of those.
Whoa.
And
I mean, that's no
and 110 sit-ups, alternating, of course. 20, 18, 16, 14, back and forth. So to be 75 years old like I am, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so.
My knees have gotten better. Actually, the pandemic came and the gym closed, and I was just beginning to really do well. and the folks there let us bring some equipment home. Of course, I couldn't bring home the big equipment. You know, I wanted to bring an assault bike home. Lord, I really begged them for that. But
Is Assault listening? We need to send Ole Roy an assault bike to his
Yeah.
home.
Yep.
so I brought home a couple of 25-pound dumbbells, and I already had a 35-pound here. So I started walking. I hadn't been walking at all. I couldn't run really because my knee, right knee especially, was giving me some issues. But over the 2 months, I picked it up, and there at the end of yesterday, for instance, actually this morning, I knew I couldn't work out this evening, so this morning I walked 5,000 meters,
Oh,
and I've been doing that anywhere from 2,400 to 4,800 meters every day, and then go work out at night. So,
double sessions.
well, yeah, I walk early, and then I do the workouts at 5:30 in the evening. Um, and it's been great. This week, actually, I guess last week I only could work out 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and did a bunch of lifts. And I'm glad I took 2 days off because my forearm and muscle biceps on both arms, they hurt so bad. But I had
Well,
done a lot
yeah.
of lifts, and took 3 days for them to get over it. So.
That's what
But
happens when you do
I've been
100
recouping.
snatches at friggin'
That
75 pounds.
almost destroyed me. I'll have
Oh,
to
yeah.
say. But it's been well. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I said these folks are very nice.
Yeah. I really like talking to you about this stuff, and I really love hearing your experiences, your recent experiences, because I think to me, it brings me back to a place that is sometimes hard to remember, right? Because I've been CrossFitting for so long, John, too, a lot of our listeners are in the same boat, that like, you know, the magic of the gym for me now is that I'm used to it and it clears my head and I see my friends and I'm in a routine, and that's very important to me. The magic of the gym for me when I was still less than a year in was kind of what you're saying, in that like you're finding strength that you didn't have before, and that's really exciting. And you're, you know, you're losing weight if that's your goal, then that's really exciting. And I think I forget the times when I was so sore that I couldn't function. I mean, and I forget what kept me coming, because there's something special about it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But what do you think it was for you that morning that you could not, you thought you were paralyzed, you couldn't get yourself out of bed, but you went back? Like, why? Why did you stick with it? I want to remember.
Well, I'm hard-headed, very
Yeah,
hard-headed.
okay.
But when I was younger, I was an athlete. I enjoyed playing. I played baseball, including in college, and a lot after that. Even after my wife and I were married, I played in a league up in South Tennessee, and so I've always been coached, and I've always had endurance and the things that go with that. And so as I began this uh, journey, I guess, I really wanted to get back. I can't get my youth back, but I don't like not feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
I like being healthy. I like being strong. I've always been strong. And as I got on into it and I began to, I knew it would take me a long time. I'm not 30 again, you know. And as I kept doing it, I got actually stronger, and they were very encouraging up there. And I told them up front, there's some things I can't do, and frankly, I'm not going to do it. I'm 75 years old, and you can't make me, kind of a
I
deal.
put my foot
And
down.
they believe me, you know.
Okay.
So they started me at a range that I could do, and I think they pushed it real close to killing me a time or two. And there's a bell hanging on the wall. They said it was for people that hit personal best, but I believe it was called an ambulance or something for me a time or two. Because it really, I struggled on some things.
Yeah,
I
I think
still
we all
can't
did.
I still can't do a pull up. But last night, the last thing we did was ski ergs and wall balls. Starting at 25 calories on the ski erg, 25 on the wall ball, 15, 20, 15, 10, 5,
Ugh.
etc. Well, I did those in 11 minutes and 13 seconds. I
Dang.
did, what's that, 75 each in 11 minutes and 13 seconds. And, that's not bad for me. I thought
That's
that's pretty darn good.
fast.
So it's sort of prideful,
Yeah.
in a sense, to say, look at me, I can do that. But, it is. I feel good about it. I really feel good about it. And I like waking up in the mornings now. I get up every day at 4:30, 5 o'clock because I've done that most of my life. And this morning I intended to go take two of my beagles out and chase a rabbit, but it's a tropical depression coming through and 20-mile-an-hour winds, so I didn't do it. So I walked instead. So just get out and do. That's the important thing, I think.
Well, I think you missed the memo. We're not supposed to like cardio. CrossFitters don't. We don't like cardio.
Yes, no cardio.
Well,
No, that's great. That's incredible. I think we all started saying there's something I can and can't do and you can't make me. And I think probably the longer you stick with it, the more those barriers will break down. If it makes you feel any better, it took me a whole year, 12 whole months working every single day to do one pull-up. So you got plenty of time.
yeah, I still have not done a legitimate pull-up.
Yeah,
That's a goal that I have, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to get there.
You absolutely are.
To do that, you got to be able to lift a lot of weight, because I've still got 215 pounds. I got to figure out how to get up high.
Yep.
And I'm going to get there. I'm hard-headed, so I promise you I'll get there. I might be 80 when I do it, but I'm going to get there.
If I can do it, anyone can do it. That's for sure. Is it weird having like a famous meme lord son in the CrossFit space?
Yeah, everybody knew who he was when I went to the gym.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they viewed me when I walked up, but they were exceptionally nice to me, so they must have liked him. I've had people all over the world want to be my friend on Facebook. I have an IG account, but I don't know how to use it, so I'll have to get one of my grandsons.
My
to
favorite
show me.
Conversation that I've ever had with any guest on this entire show.
So I do have Facebook, and I've been doing it a long time. I have a friend in Africa that he and I text a lot. I have a friend in Chicago that she and I have bagels, and we text a lot. I've got a lady friend in France that thinks I'm precious, but I don't talk about that to my wife.
Right. No, of course not. Can't do that. And all these people, have you connected with a bunch of people like because of CrossFit, through CrossFit?
Absolutely, and because of the stories, mostly the stories I've written and put on Facebook. Of course, I write about CrossFit. I have been doing that once a month for 8 or 9 months on my Facebook page. But I write other stories that are silly stories, but there are a lot of them part of my life, And I try to keep it fun, humorous, and you can read some seriousness in it, even on CrossFit, how tough it is. But I try to make it fun too. So I enjoy it, in other words.
Dad, speaking of stories, we had someone on the show a couple weeks ago from Tennessee, and I briefly told Nikki the story about how you died as a baby and Mama brought you back by holding you over the fire. So I think you need to tell Nikki the story.
Please tell the story.
She needs the full story. I can't do it justice.
We were very poor, and we lived in I was born in an extremely rural part of Mississippi. Okay. Mississippi's rural all over it, but it's extremely rural in 1944 when I was born. There weren't any doctors for 50 miles probably, and every road was dirt. Nobody had cars. I mean, it was tough. Mm-hmm. And my mama told me that when I was about 5 or 6 months old that I had turned blue, that I had they had me dead and laid out on a kitchen table actually. And one of my great aunts told my daddy to run up and get a neighbor's wife to come down there. She had experience with about 8 or 9 babies, I think. And she came down, and they greased me down with lard, wrapped me in a blanket, and gave me, I believe she said sassafras tea. Sassafras is a root uh, off a tree grown over here, probably everywhere, and some sassafras tea and helped me over the fireplace. And I started coughing and was okay. So they had, that's a story. That's a true story, by the way. Uh, no doctors to get. So
Wait,
that's probably what's, that might be what's wrong with me, right?
I think I need to unpack what I just heard. So they had this baby laid out on this table.
Cute,
It
baby
died.
too.
This baby died.
That's right.
Period.
Me.
You died. And they were like, all right, well, someone go get something for this dead baby.
I had turned blue all over and wasn't breathing. That they could tell. I bound to have been breathing, but they couldn't tell it. And I'm sure it was a form of I don't know what, hives maybe, or something that closed up airway.
Oh, some sort of like allergic reaction you had to something, and
bound
whatever. Who knows what it was that undid it?
I promise you, the world is way better off that I lived.
Oh, I'm sure. Thank goodness we have John.
Yes, you wouldn't have dreamed more.
There you go.
Yes.
Come on. I would love to know if there's like a doctor or nurse or someone with experience listening to this podcast right now. Please tell us what in your professional experience, what saved old Roy.
I never did go to the doctor. Didn't have to go to the doctor.
Huh.
So,
the healing powers of sassafras tea.
I feel like
wonderful. Yeah.
Sassafras is something that only Southerners say. It's a word and a concept that I know nothing of in New England.
Yes.
Sassafras.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff Southerners say that are hard to grasp.
That's funny. So because I feel like now that, we've been reading your stories and obviously, John's platform is quite large. I'm a little bit wondering like who's the bigger CrossFit celebrity between the two of you. It's up in the air to me. I don't know.
It's definitely him.
Right?
I can't keep up with John. He probably got the fastest thumbs in the world.
Ain't that the truth?
To be able to reply to people and do that. It's fascinating to me that I know he's a smart, wait a minute, that your lady's dad, he's a smart person. Smart as half a word in his case, but he's a smart person that can come up with quick things. It's interesting.
Yeah, we don't edit curse words on here, Dad. Niki.
He's a smart ass.
There you go.
Okay, I feel really good. I'm trying not to offend people. I didn't know if I could curse in front of your dad.
Oh no, trust me, he's invented all those words. You're good.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, great. I feel much more comfortable now. No, I totally agree. I'm constantly in awe of how fast John not only like thinks of things and like the memes are on point and they're fast,
but also tell you stuff about him. I can tell you a lot about John.
Oh hell yeah! I want you to tell me.
John was one of the most independent young men. One time, when he was about 15, if I remember right, he was playing for a band, Southern gospel, but it was a rock gospel band, and they had gone somewhere. I believe it was Missouri. And I got a call on Sunday that his car had broke down. And he was 15 years old. And all the rest of them left him and came home. And he told me he'd get his car fixed and he'd be home the next day. And he did. So I didn't have to go get him or anything. He handled it himself.
Damn.
So he's a really independent. And that's good. That's a good thing. All my kids
Absolutely.
I also have 2 girls.
Oh, that's right.
They're very independent. I'm proud of it.
Aww. Now, John loves to impart words of wisdom. I lovingly refer to as strong dad advice. And I'm assuming that a lot of that has trickled down from you. Do you know what are the sort of like the smart dad knowledge bombs that you've given to him that he's, gone ahead and passed on to his kids and also to everyone who's listening to this podcast?
No, he may have learned a good bit from me, but I feel comfortable that he has developed a lot of his personality on his own, which is a good thing. He listens. He wasn't much trouble at all. He hated No, he didn't. I almost said he hated school, but his older sister was like a 4.0 kid, jump grades. And what he always said was his diploma would look just like hers when he got out of school, and he was right,
Ain't that
so
the
it didn't
truth?
hold him back at all. And so he's gone on and got into this world, which is unique, I think. So, yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm glad he's got you to help him out.
Well,
Just
she's the talent. We've
just
said that for a
asking the
long time.
questions.
She's the
No.
talent. I just bring the crowds. I bring the rowdy people, and then she imparts wisdom on them. That's all we do.
It's a team effort. Team
Yep.
effort for sure.
That's our formula.
So, Roy, I think everyone who's been CrossFitting for a decent amount of time, and now you're sort of like approaching that 1 year mark, 9.5 months in, everyone forms their lists, right? They're like, my favorite things to do and my things that if I never had to do them again, it would be too soon. And I don't mean like we all hate the assault bike, but like I still like don't mind that it's like incorporated into some workouts sometimes. I'm like, what are the things that you love, and if you could do for every WOD, you'd pick this movement? And what are the things that you're like, I never, ever, ever want to see another burpee ever again, for real?
While I was away from the gym for the last 2 months, I realized that I like the rowing machine.
Mm-hmm.
I love rowing. It's cardio from toenails to your hair, And matter of fact, I've been there about a month at CrossFit, and maybe on Friday night they have you can do pretty well as you please. And when I got there that Friday night, there was on the board stuff I didn't want to do, and I told her that. Chrissy, I said, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do something else. She said, well, I'll tell you what, come over here and get on the rowing machine, and we'll let you do 2,000 meters. And I'd been there about a month, and frankly, I didn't know whether I could do 2,000 meters or not. And I got over about 1,000 of it, and I felt sure I was fixing to pass out. But as I went on through it and worked on through it, it was kind of like back when I played ball. You get to a point where you just work on through it, boys.
It's just a grind.
And I did. And when I got over to 1,500, I knew I was going to be able to do it. So I like it probably better than anything. The hardest thing for me, what do they call them? The devil's press.
Oh.
Where you got two dumbbells and you do a burpee or something out of the thing, and then put them over your head. I don't know the name of anything. I just, like a trained monkey, I go do whatever they tell me.
No, you're right. Those are devil presses, and they are the worst.
It's extremely difficult. Now, I told you I haven't done a pull-up yet, but I'm getting closer, I think. The weightlifting, I can't do a tremendous amount, but not like some of the boys can lift 400 pounds. I'm never going to do that. If I were to guess how much I'd do at my age, it's potentially I could get between 250 and 300, probably. I'm going to guess because I'm still pretty strong. But now, as I get older, that may change, So there's really not many things that I wasn't running at all early on because my knees were so blame bad. But when I started walking all this stuff, my knees are great. Even the right one that was giving me trouble has loosened up, and I feel good with it. And I ran 1,000 meters the other night in a workout. So
look at you.
So it's getting better. Everything's getting better.
Nikki, I just like to say out loud, I can't endorse his endorsement of mobility that he's talking about here. I can't support that. Since I can't support having good joints. I just me.
I get it.
I bet losing all that weight helped your knees too, though. To be honest.
Oh, I guarantee you it did. Yeah, I feel great. I've dropped down to I wear 38 waist pants, and some of those are loose. And I got on a pair of shorts now that are fit great, and I still think I look pretty darn good in blue jeans. To tell the truth, my butt's getting cute, I think, but that may just be me.
I guarantee it's not just you.
I don't even want to think about it.
I tell you, John, I've lost all this blame weight. I've got all these muscles now that I didn't have, and still, when I we get ready to go to bed, Beverly, I'm still making me put a mask on, and it's not even in the pandemic time. What am I going to do about that? Has a Brad Pitt face on the mask.
Are you going shirtless in the workout yet? Have you started ripping your shirt off?
No, and I don't anticipate doing that. But I went through this period where I had so much loose skin. I told you I needed a cross my heart brassiere on there for a while. But I finally got enough muscle to where I've sort of jacked them back up reasonably well.
There you go.
And, you know, so you still have some of those issues. It's that's getting better though, I think, because I am getting a little bit of muscle. I still got some loose skin though. So
we could reach out to Under Armour and get you an infinity bra. That'd be okay, I think.
Because it stops the movement.
All directions. Yes,
All directions.
I see. I got you. Well, I've got on an Under Armour. I started wearing my CrossFit shirt, and then I didn't know how controversial that was with y'all now. So I wore an Under Armour shirt that I bought at Walmart. And I have to brag on Under Armour. They sent me a pair of new shoes.
Oh, they did.
Oh, they're nice too. Yeah, that's being an internet star is lucrative sometimes.
That's right. That hashtag influencer.
Yes.
That was really nice of them. I will say that Under Armour also recently sent a pair of new Tri-Base-Ring 2s for my husband. They're just so kind. Like, they are so kind over there. And
that's what I got.
Let me tell you what he did. All right. So Under Armour messaged me and they're like, hey, can we send your dad a pair of shoes? Because we're really excited about his journey. He's doing so great working out. And I'm like, sure, send him a pair. He'd love that. I sent him a size, you know. And so I text Dad. I'm like, do me a favor. Take a picture in the shoes because I need to pay back Under Armour by showing a photo of you wearing them.
Of course.
And so that afternoon, I get a photo of Dad at CrossFit with 4 women at CrossFit, none of which are my mother, I might add.
There you go.
And Dad standing there with his arm around 4 women wearing the Under Armour
Pretty
shoes.
good looking women.
I'm like, what the heck are you doing?
Well, you know? He's a stud. He's a stud at the gym.
This is the only gym, Niki. Like, I mean, I got a little bit of an ego. I'll admit it. I have a little bit of an ego.
Okay.
And I'm used to going to CrossFit gyms and being treated like a celebrity. You get all diva-like. You get used to it, right? And now when I go to Rise to Fitness CrossFit in Tupelo, they act just like I'm just some schlub off the street. But when Dad walks in, he's like the mayor just arrived. You know, they don't give a rat's ass about me, but they're like, Roy, what's going on?
Here. Yeah, who are you again?
Yeah, they don't care about me. Yeah.
I was struggling so bad one night. I still remember it was an awful workout. Everybody else was through, and I was still over there just working away and about to die. And 2 or 3 of them came up around me and said, you can do it, Roy, you can do it. And I was about to have a heart attack. And they stayed right with me until I got through. So, yeah, I appreciate them. I really do. That was very nice of them.
Do you guys have much of a community there? Like, do you have friends that you see at the class time that you go to?
We had a death in our family not too long ago, and Chrissy, who's the one of the owners, spent the day with my family. Showed more heart than you can imagine. I will always appreciate that. So yes, these are good people, real good people.
Oh, I could cry.
Don't start crying. Well, Chrissy was on the show actually, Niki. So PN pre-Niki.
She told me that.
She
told me that she was on a podcast.
She was like, maybe if anybody wants to go back and listen to her, she was actually brilliant. So Chrissy, who runs this Rise to Fitness CrossFit, is also a registered nurse.
Oh, cool.
And I want to say it was like episode 7 or 8. It was like really early on. And, we're like, this will be in the 90s by the time we release this. But she spent a lot of time on that episode talking about how she's helped people reverse type 2 diabetes and
so cool.
People fighting weight battles and a lot of similar stories to what you've heard here. Like, she's really, really passionate about people's health, which is part of why I recommended them to Dad. And I told her, like, the kind of the funny part we didn't mention here is, like, I went to her and said, hey, I know my dad's going to come to you eventually. Do not kill him. That's exactly what I told her.
Right.
I believe that.
I'm like, looking out.
I'm like, well, look, he said he was hard-headed and stubborn, and I have the exact same trait. I was telling this to Mira last night that, the trait that is being passed down from my dad to me to my daughters is that whenever you give us a project or something, we just like do it until we get really good at it. There's just like
Mm-hmm.
no stopping. Like you can probably see that on my Instagram page. That's why I post 12 times a day. Right. Well, I knew if he went, he'd be trying to do rope climbs like week one. It's like he's just like if he's gonna do CrossFit, he's gonna make the games eventually. Like that's just
Right.
the way he's wired. And so I've literally told her, you can't let him kill himself. He still thinks he's a high school and college baseball player, and he's not. Like you gotta get him back in shape. And to her credit, like they are really terrific coaches. They subscribe to the same theory I do, that you scale to the individual, not to the workout.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a really, really good job of that. Like in the times that I've witnessed them coaching Dad and other people, they have their program workout, but then they take into account who they're talking to. And, so instead of having somebody do, like, as an example, when Dad started, instead of having him do single under jump rope because he couldn't do it at the time, it's like, all right, jump on this 10-pound plate or jump in place, and then, working him up to single unders, and then, eventually progressing. And I really appreciated that with them, and how they work, and they're, like most gyms, a really, really tight knit community,
Yeah.
um, and an
Yes, they are.
amazing facility. Like it's like top notch. It's really amazing. So big
Yeah, I've been
props.
tickled to death with the facility. The people are wonderful. People that go there are wonderful. They've actually got 3 or 4 nurses, I think, as a part of their deal. It's always important, since I'm old as I am, there need to be nurses around. I'm
Eh,
I'm gonna guess I'm 35 years older than anybody might be a little less than that, 1 or 2. But I think I won't say that I was an experiment when I started, but they didn't really know how much a man my age could do. And frankly, all 75-year-olds aren't equal.
Right.
But I could do a lot more, I think, than they thought. And I hope that it's impressed them that I can do a little bit more even now than they thought I'd ever get to. So, but I'm gonna go farther.
Oh, of course you
I'm
are.
still gonna do a dead blame pull up. Actually, I'm gonna do 10 or 15 of them.
I have no doubt. I have zero doubt in my mind.
Scott told me, he said, we better have a camera ready, because when you do your first muscle up, it needs to be on film. And I'll
Mhm.
do that sooner or later.
Absolutely, you will. Oh my
Sweet.
God, duh.
If I get videos you attempt to muscle ups, I'm gonna be pissed off, because those things, they're hard, they're dangerous. So
Oh, I'm gonna do one.
all right.
I may not do but one, and I'm gonna do one sooner or later.
Truthfully, I won't be surprised. I will not. I won't be surprised. Well, just to give you a point of reference, it took me 7 years to get a ring muscle up. It took me 4 years to get a bar muscle up. So that's your standard to set. So get one in less time than that, and then you'll have bragging rights.
I'm going to.
Oh, it's like the
Okay.
battle of
I
the.
need to lose 10 more
I know, right?
pounds, which I feel like I'll lose 10 more pounds. Might take me 6 more months or 8 more months, but
Oh my God.
if
Guys
I
are
lose,
so dumb. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. It's going to take me 6 months. Bullets.
Yep.
well,
Lose 10 pounds.
in
Take me 10 years.
9 months, I lost 50. So I surely
That's
in
awesome.
6
That's
more, I can
wild.
lose 10. If I can get down around 205, when Beverly and I got married, I weighed 205 pounds, but I was in shape at that point in my life. So if I can get back down to 205 and in fair shape, I'll be have set a goal that will be remarkable, I think. So
That's cool. Have you found that getting to CrossFit and starting to feel better, I mean, albeit very sore in the beginning, but starting to feel better and starting to see changes and set goals, has that sort of bled into other parts of your life? Like, I know from John that, your nutrition has also obviously improved greatly, but have you seen other effects, like mentally, physically, and how you act and how you think?
physically, yes, I've always been happy. I've always been positive. Hard-headed and positive are pretty well the same thing in my world. I tell you the way I've always been, and it's blessed me. I am a whole lot like my mother. My mother was a happy person. She never she didn't look back on yesterday at all.
Mm.
She took care of now and looked into the future. She could have something bad happen to her, and she didn't look back on it. She fired ahead, you know. So every day, if I get up and I'm sore and I can't move, I set my feet on the floor, and I may sit there a minute or two until I tell myself that it's time to get your tail up, get on the road, and do. So that's what I do every day. And so I don't have too many times in my life that I'm not generally happy. I'm married to a wonderful woman, have 3 great kids, had a good life, very few things in my life that I regret. And I do have some, but not many. And I'm expecting to live another 20 years. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
you get to 75, you just, you know, stuff happens. So I'm going to do it happily, I hope, right on out to the end. So, yes, that's generally my philosophy. Be happy every day.
I love it.
There's a lot of good folks in the world. Smile at them when you see them.
I feel like this is like the conversation I needed right now.
Is it? You feel better about your life now?
I
Good.
just feel better. I just feel like it's easy to get there's change afoot, and change is necessary. And a lot of what's been going on lately in the world has been like, just heavy and important.
Easy to get depressed.
Yeah,
Over.
it is. It's easy to sort of just let it bog you down.
People forget there are good folks everywhere. I heard my oldest daughter, who's hard-headed as John, told me they're a military family. Her husband's a lieutenant colonel, retired, but they lived in a lot of places. And everywhere they went, she said, there are good people everywhere. You just got to meet them. And that's what they did. And they still do that. So I get, if I was ever going to be discouraged, my state, Mississippi, is in the deep South. And we've had a lot of negative things said about our state. But frankly, we are doing wonderful. The state has come on as quickly as I've ever seen in our part of the state, which is Tupelo, hill country, heavy industrial part of the state. People make good livings. They're happy, live well together. Not much turmoil at all in our part of the world. I happen to live in a community here that's my street's dead end, makes a little U and goes back to another one. But on this street, because we had Toyota build a great big car plant up the road, I have 2 or 3 Japanese families that live right here around me. I got 2 or 3 African American families that live right here around me. We all walk up and down the road and speak to each other, generally every day, and it's just pleasant part of the world to live in. And so, no reason why you shouldn't be happy. Yeah, John tells me you're from Rhode Island. I've never been to Rhode Island.
Yes. I grew up in Boston and stayed in New England my whole life. And
the only thing I know about Rhode Island is in the movie Author. He talked about it. It was so small you could carpet it. Is that what I remember? Very big.
It's so small you could carpet it. That's totally true.
Very small. If it's something like that. So
yes, it is tiny. You can drive basically from the top to the bottom in like less than 2 hours. Yeah, little. But you've become.
That's the only difference, I think, between people in the South, people in the Northeast or West, is we have a little different accent occasionally.
Oh yeah. Do you guys know that I had to lose my accent in school, like in college when I went to school for broadcast journalism, because I was a TV news reporter and anchor for a long time in a past life, and I had to take like a dialect course in college to get rid of any Boston accent that I had lingering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I knew that. I
would imagine a lot of people from the South have to do that same thing to get away.
Well, I basically got rid of my accent. I mean, I'm in banking. Nobody wants a banker that says, y'all want some mutual funds.
I think it's cute.
You pretty well have gotten rid of all of it. But you've lived in Cleveland now for what, 20 years?
20 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, long time.
Longer than I moved here in 95. Yeah, I've been here like 25 years.
Long time.
Yeah,
I like Cleveland, by the way. It's a really neat town.
Yeah.
City. Really neat city.
Yeah, you can't.
Tupelo's famous for being the birthplace of Elvis Presley, by the way. We have a museum, park. He was born over here on the east side of town. Um, lived here, lives probably 13 or 14, moved to Memphis where he became famous. But
Oh,
a lot of Elvis stuff around this town.
I had no
A lot of,
idea.
You
yep,
didn't know this?
All the Elvis stuff.
Oh,
No.
you didn't.
a lot of Elvis stuff.
I always said growing up, this is the no BS thing. I used to tell my friends, eventually you'd pull into Tupelo and it's going to say birthplace of Elvis Presley and John Woolley. And I haven't achieved it yet.
Okay.
I have not
Okay.
achieved it yet, but eventually when my meme millions come in,
The Me
uh,
Millions.
I'm gonna build that sign. Just wait.
maybe it'll say Roy Woolley, internet star.
It
Maybe
might.
it'll say
It
Probably
might.
before it says John Woolley, it'll say Roy Woolley.
that. Uh,
If you'd start using that Instagram handle, you'd absolutely
I've
pick up
got
No,
it.
you are
followers.
not on Instagram.
I am
Yeah,
on Instagram. I just don't know how to use it.
Okay.
he hasn't done any posts because he doesn't know how to use it.
Ole Roy 1105.
Oh,
I'm ready.
I am editing that out. Jesus.
No, leave it in. You know, Roy, that you can post on Instagram and Facebook at the same time.
Well, I know that, but I just don't know how. So I'm going to figure out how to do that.
Well, John, you got to get down there and you got to train them up.
I'm going in a few weeks. I'm gonna go soon.
There you go.
My baby sister's there. She could do it. Like she's
Yeah,
the
all my
smartest one of all
grandkids
of us.
can. Everybody here can do it but me. And I'm too busy out playing on my beagles.
Oh, that's right. That's
See,
right.
you can come down and run rabbits with me. I won a field trial this weekend with one of my dogs. He's been in 3 trials and won all 3 of them. So I got
No.
one pretty darn good.
You know that I was probably put on this earth to be with dogs. I think it might be my purpose, really,
Cool.
honestly. So I'm totally down to run rabbits with the beagles. 100%.
I love beagles. I love them. I have for a
I
long
do
time.
too. They're so
I've
cool.
had some real good ones too.
I really appreciate that. I always have been very impressed by people who, and my husband is like this, we call Matt the dog whisperer, like people who have like an affinity to train animals in a way that is just like, I just can't, like, all I want to do is cuddle them. And I'm like, oh, you're so cute. Here's treats. Like, you know, blah, blah. And like, just people who can create the mutual respect that they crave as a species, you know, like they crave an alpha and they crave like this sort of like structure and this pack and whatever. And, you know, Matt knows all the philosophy about that and stuff, which is why our dogs are so good. They're not because of me. They're because he actually
My
has
dogs are
that,
great.
that magic touch.
Every time you go to see your dogs, they're happy to see you.
Exactly. Yeah,
People aren't that way always, but your dog's always going to wag his tail at you.
I know.
So,
I want like 30 Bernese Mountain Dogs. You think that's overkill?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe too many. Maybe.
got
Maybe.
5. I'm fixed to have a litter, I hope, about mid-August.
Oh
Baby
my
beagles.
gosh. Do you have to do the thing where you like bottle feed them and stuff?
Oh, no. I have a beautiful little female dog out here that I hope can raise them. We're going to see.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, you are busy between CrossFit and the Beagles and trying to deal with all your fame and celebrity. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot to take on.
And write a story every once in a while.
Yeah. Oh,
I-
this was
I've
fun.
started writing those posts on Facebook several years ago, and it's nothing, no rhyme or reason for it. John's quick and can do this stuff all the time, but I may go 2 or 3 weeks and not have a thought about anything, and then all of a sudden I get something jumps in my head, and I can sit down in 3 minutes. I can write a pretty good post. So,
Well, yeah, that's where he gets it from, of course. Duh.
My wife's an excellent writer. She's from Tampa, Florida, and this other interesting thing. I believe her high school class her senior class had 700 or 800 people in it, and pretty good size. Mine had 16. My senior class. I grew up in a little town called Blue Mountain, and we have a women's college there, but the high school is really small. So poor as we were when I was little, I kept telling my wife about the things like the dying when I was 6 months old, not having any money, and really poor. And she's always managed to tell me that we were the kind of families I used to take fruit baskets to at Christmas time. So we're we're better than that now. So
Good.
Anything else you want to know about me, Nikki? Anything at all?
I
I'll
don't
tell you.
know. Like embarrassing stories. Is you have like
I,
a favorite embarrassing John
no,
story?
there's nothing embarrassing about my
I
life.
came in one day. He was about 12 and a half years old, and his birthday. And I had gone down to the local music store and I bought a used Yamaha acoustic guitar. And he had never asked for one, didn't have a thought. But now my daddy could play, and my brother could play and sang beautifully. So I brought the guitar home for John for his birthday, and he looked at that thing like it was, what in the world have you done? Why are you giving me this? And I said, well, I don't know whether you would want to play or not, but it's family can play. I couldn't. I played baseball. But if you get ready for a lesson, just tell me and we'll do them. And 3 months later, he came in and wanted to take lessons, and we found a guy down at the local church that could teach him to play a little guitar. And it didn't last long. He wanted a better one, and so we got a music guy to start teaching him. And he got pretty serious about it. And I suspect, I don't know how much y'all have heard him play, but I suspect you'll notice he's really good, really good. So I'm proud of him for that. That's a hobby that he has that will, he'd come in from high school, come in this room. I'd bought him a Telecaster or a Stratocaster, I can't remember which. And he'd close the door over there and he'd be frustrated over something and he would blow the walls off this room on that electric guitar. And then in a little while, he'd come out and go out and shoot basketball. So he used it as a calming down tool, where now he probably uses CrossFit for that. But
I use alcohol now.
Alcohol, yeah. Well, you may have back then. I still had that hole in the wall over here, I remember.
I still have the acoustic guitar. I took it apart this week. It's hanging upstairs in my bedroom. So all my other guitars are in the room I'm in right now. But that acoustic guitar I still have, and it was hanging on the wall, and I was looking at it. I'm like, it needs to be clean. I need to change the strings. I took it completely apart, pulled the nut out, pulled everything out, sanded what needed to be sanded, dusted what needed to be dusted. That thing plays great. And it's
See, I always thought
great.
it's one of the prettiest sounding guitars I've ever heard. I loved it. I loved it the first day, and I love to hear you playing it.
Yeah, it still sounds great. I mean, it's I don't know, 30,
On the wall
30 something years
behind him,
old.
on the wall behind him right now is about 15 more guitars.
Yeah,
we were
right.
looking at a minute ago. So
Well,
he now has more than one.
well,
But it all started with that one acoustic guitar that you brought home for him.
What he's not telling in the story, Nikki, is what I'd asked for was an Atari 2600, and he
Right.
screwed me and didn't get it for me. He got me a guitar when I wanted an Atari 2600, which was a much better gift. Instead, he got me a damn guitar. But
look,
nobody's
He
ever.
ended up playing in junior college for a country western band. He hates country music, or did back then, and played there. And then he went on to Nashville to Belmont College to be a music major, and played a lot up there. Cost me a fortune. I got a call from him one day. This is true, absolute truth. Phone rang and I answered. I said, hello. He said, I'm dropping out of college. I am wasting your money, and so I'm leaving. And I promise you, I said, who is this? I couldn't believe he's thinking he's wasting my money. So that's a true story. I still remember that. But he played guitar in Nashville a lot. Had a lot of friends that were really good ones up there.
I love it.
They're all still there. They're all still much better than me,
Well,
but they can't meme anywhere near as well as I can.
and
So
nor can
screw
they do
them.
muscle ups. So there's that.
Yes, they also can't do muscle ups. So take that, rich and famous guys.
That's
all
right.
of you.
Forget you, rock stars.
I'm surprised some of these really good athletes hadn't wanted to kick your tail. From all
They have. Yeah, they have.
Oh,
They have.
That's the thing. That's the thing that happens.
Yeah, they have.
Doesn't have he's not enemy free.
I bet that's true. Very true.
Yeah.
They all like
those
me.
people don't know the real you. They just don't like the memes.
They all like me. They all like me. they all like me enough to know that, they want to stay on my good side, but they also know they could rip my arms off at any given moment. So
That's true.
it kind of evens out, really.
That's very true.
It all evens
Mm.
out. Yeah.
You guys, this has been so much fun. I feel like so lucky that I had a chance to chat with you, Roy, and finally meet you after all this time.
Well, you need to come down south and visit.
I know. Ugh, wouldn't that be so much fun? We'll run the beagles. You and Matt can do dog whispery things together.
Here's what we need. Here's what we need to do, Nikki. Once all this CrossFit hubbub works out, at some point, there's going to be an event in Cookeville. At some point, some event.
Right.
We know we will. I'll make my sister, toss him in a car, bring him up to a CrossFit event. He can be famous in front of other CrossFitters, and you guys can meet there. How about
How far from Cookeville are you guys?
They're probably 5 hours.
5 hours.
That's not bad.
Probably.
Road
Yeah,
trip?
it's not very far at all. It's just out of Nashville.
Yep.
We're about 4 hours, a little less maybe even than Nashville.
It's a plan, man. It is a total plan. You and Senior, I bet, would get along real well.
Yep.
He's great.
I would enjoy meeting.
We'll give him a microphone. He could be the sideline reporter. He could just interview people.
Ooh, the thing is, I think
I don't know the
better
name
at
of
it
any.
than me, so I don't really
learn the
wanna do it.
names of everything. I don't know the names of anything.
You should do some research, but maybe don't, because like I said, I think you'd be better at it than I am, and I just don't really want to hand that off to you just yet. If you could
Go on, what is it, SugarWad? I go on SugarWad, and they list what we're doing today or tomorrow for the workout of the day, and I don't recognize any of the letters that are beside them. So on SugarWad, I can go to the YouTube videos, and I have to go look and see what they are. And they don't have them all on there, by the way. So
well, get on it, SugarWad. Come on now.
That's what I think. They need to do better for Roy.
There you go.
Rookies. Well, I'll tell you anything else you want to know. You may know more than you want to.
Yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all she needs to know.
I think that's all we have time for tonight.
Yes.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I know. Every time he said, "Well, you know what John used to do in this room," I'm like, "Okay, what am I editing out?
What am I cutting?
What am I about to have to cut? Too bad."
I don't even want to know that.
All right. Yep.
Me either.
Yep. I was a good Christian boy. All right. Sure. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Dad. Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
I will. I'm gonna pack the girls up, and we're gonna make a road trip and come and see you guys very, very soon. Within the next, maybe even the next few days, depending on how quickly I get time off.
Great.
Yeah.
And, I'll cook breakfast.
There you go. And Nikki, you and I will be probably podcasting all week, so I'm going to talk to you a lot.
Yes, please.
Lots of stuff going on in the CrossFit world. So everyone listening, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will chat with you later.